This video is brought to you by SoccerPro.com. Be sure to visit SoccerPro.com for all the latest soccer gear at everyday low prices with no membership fees. Don't forget to use coupon code SR4U at checkout for $10 off a $75 purchase, plus free shipping within the US. Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you a comparison video between the Nike Mercurial Vapor 8 and the Nike Mercurial Vapor Superfly 3. The Superfly line has been discontinued. It was that kind of step above the Vapor VIII, but they were kind of killing the Superfly. It was also twice as expensive, but the quality was there, and it was actually a made in Italy shoe, which the new Vapor 8 is also made in Italy, which is something we haven't seen in a little while. So the quality on both of these shoes is just going to be really, really fantastic. And these are probably two of the best synthetic soccer shoes on the market. Just really great quality and really great upper materials. Right off the bat, the upper material on both of these shoes is a Teijin microfiber, but at the end of the day, the two uppers couldn't be more different. The upper on the Superfly 3 is a very stiff upper. It's thin, but I would say it's probably twice as thick as the Vapor 8. The Vapor 8 is a super thin upper, but it's still, even being twice as thick, it's super thin. You have the flywire running through the inside and the outside of the upper. Essentially what the flywire is kind of woven carbon fiber strips. It kind of goes around these lace holes and it runs all the way through and underneath the shoe. So when you do pull the laces tight, it kind of pulls the upper to your foot, kind of works like a suspension bridge kind of thing. And it really does have that tight, secure fit, but keep in mind this is a very stiff shoe, probably the stiffest shoe on the market, and it's going to require easily 10 hours of break-in time until you're actually comfortable in the shoe. Another thing to note is the fit. The fit on the Superfly 3 is definitely narrow. If you have a medium to narrow shaped foot, you're going to have no issues with the Superfly. You're still going to have that break-in period, but you're going to have no issues with comfort after they are broken in. But if you do have a wide foot, you're going to have some major issues. The shoe's never going to be comfortable for you, and it's just something that's never going to fit. You're going to notice that there's still a bigger toe box in comparison to the Vapor 8. They've really lowered the toe box on the Vapor 8. Although on the Superfly, once it is broken in, the toe box will lower on its own. It is something to note. This Superfly 3 is not a shoe that's really wearable right out of the box. Where the Vapor 8 is this brand new Teijin synthetic microfiber with this kind of suede finish on the outside. It's super thin. It's easily the thinnest Vapor that we've seen so far. Again, if I just run my finger through here, you can actually see my fingertip. It's super thin, super soft, really, see how little effort it requires, one finger, in comparison to the Superfly, where I really have to push in order to make that upper kind of move and be really soft and conform to your foot. It really does require some break-in time for the Superfly 3 to really get to that softness, and even then I don't think it would. Again, the fit in this shoe, they've changed a little bit in comparison to the past Vapor. The Vapor, since the Vapor 4, this has gone back to that Vapor 3 style shape, where the super small toe box, it's more narrow in the toe box, it's much lower, it fits a lot tighter overall, and even the midfoot, again, they've gone back to that narrow shaped shoe. So if you have a wide foot, this is probably not a shoe that you want to take a look at. Either of these shoes are not really going to be good for wide-footed players. As far as comfort out of the box goes, again, the Vapor 8 is probably the first shoe that I've really been able to wear out of the box from the Mercurial line and really had no issues with, where the Superfly 3 just isn't one of those shoes that you can do that with. To talk about the outsoles and set pattern here, you got two very, very different things, but both very, very unique and both very, very good. The Superfly 3 has the carbon fiber sole plate, which is kind of going to be retired, it looks like, from the Nike series, which is kind of a disappointment for me. I really did like this sole plate. It's easily the stiffest sole plate on the market, but very, very responsive, and it does eliminate any kind of stud pressure possible. It's just a really fantastic sole plate. But again, if you don't have that weight for that sole plate, I find that a lot of people who are a little bit lighter have some issues with this sole plate, simply because they don't have the actual weight to flex it, and they're always going to have that issue with it not flexing enough, and then they're going to get the rubbing blisters in the heel, which can become a problem. But as far as the stud pattern goes, this uses a really unique stud pattern. You get the 4 studs in the back, 4 heel studs, and then you get the same triangular studs here like you got on the Vapor 7, and then you get what Nike calls the scent studs, which are these 2 studs you see right here. They retract and come out a little bit depending on how hard the ground is. It's not something that you're going to be able to move. It's not actually a moving part. It's basically a pressure thing, so if the ground is softer, when you do put your weight on it, it will come out a little bit, and if the ground is a little bit harder, it will come in a little bit. But overall, it's not something that you're going to see moving right in front of your eyes, and it's not even something you're probably not going to feel it either. But I can tell you that it does work. This is easily probably the best traction that you can get from any other soccer shoe on the market is the Superfly 3. I really did like the stud pattern. I know a lot of pros didn't actually use the Scent studs, generally because they were mostly wearing soft grounds or mixed soles. There were some other guys who were just wearing the regular VIII Soleplate, but I really did like the Scent stud Soleplate. It really works even well on soft ground. I was surprised. I didn't think it was something that was going to perform all that well, but at the end of the day, I really did like this traction that this shoe provided, and it was thoroughly impressive. VIII has kind of gone in a completely different direction, where you get kind of a soft ground, firm ground mix here. This is a firm ground stud pattern, but you do get only 2 studs in the back, which is somewhat unusual. You can see that you have these little these kind of little hang-off pieces of plastic here. So it kind of makes like one giant stud as opposed to just 2 in the back. And then you have these 4 studs here, which are going to be the 4 studs that you're going to be standing on in the forefoot. So you're basically standing, overall when you are standing in these shoes, you're standing on 6 studs, which is something that you normally see from soft ground, where you have this middle stud here as a support stud, then this front stud as a push-off stud. Really unusual, but at the end of the day, it really does work well. Both of these shoes are going to be turf friendly as far as their stud pattern goes. They're not going to provide too much grip, and they're not going to be too clingy on the turf, which is something that's really important when you are using these for turf shoes. The sole plate on this, the VIII is a glass fiber sole plate. It seems to be thinner than the VIII VII. It's more flexible, definitely, than the carbon fiber. And again, I didn't have any issues with stud pressure or anything, and it seems to be pretty stiff right out of the box. It's actually double layered. You see this darker section here. It's actually a second layer just to keep this midfoot section stiff and the heel part stiff. It needs to be a little bit thicker because you're only on 2 studs. So if it wasn't thicker, stud pressure could be a problem, but there is no issues with that whatsoever. Then you have the second layers covering these 2 studs as well. As far as weight goes, these are 2 very different shoes again. The Superfly 3 has a listed weight of 7.8 ounces, but I have found that it's not exactly true. This is a brand new pair, never worn. There's no stuffing inside, nothing's changed, completely stock, size 9 US, and it weighs in at 8.3 ounces. So it's definitely not a heavy shoe, but it's definitely not that 7.8 ounces. It's still lightweight, very solid. It's, for what you get, I feel like this is the most solid shoe, and because it fits so tightly, it does have that lightweight feel. Where the VIII VIII has a listed weight of 6.7 ounces, and actually does weigh 6.7 ounces. Again, both of these shoes are size 9 US, which is the size that the listed weights are supposed to be posted with. So there you go, guys. That's kind of the comparison between both of these shoes. They're both really good shoes, and if I were to wear a thin synthetic, it would be one of these 2. If I had to pick a favorite, it would definitely be the VIII VIII, simply because of how comfortable it is, and I really like this new material they have on this upper. But again, you can pick up the Superfly 3 for some really good prices right now. So if you have always wanted a Superfly, or you really want that more solid shoe, because I definitely think the Superfly 3 is a more solid feeling shoe than the VIII VIII, I definitely take a look at the Superfly 3. Again, if you're a wide-footed player, I would stay away from both of these shoes. It's not something that you're going to want. For the full written review of the Superfly 3, there'll be a link in the description to the review page, as well as the high-quality pictures and the buy it now links for the best prices online. The full written review for the VIII VIII is not up yet, but if you did see an annotation right here, that means that the review is up. Expect the review up. If you're watching this right now, expect the review up in a couple weeks or so, guys. But in the meantime, if you want to check out the high-quality pictures as well as the buy it now links, those links will be on the review page. There'll be a link in the description to the review page, just there won't be a review there. In the meantime, guys, if you're interested in picking up a brand new pair of shoes, I highly recommend you check out the Super Deal section. Even if you're looking to pick up some Superfly 3s, you can pick some up for some really good deals on there. It's all the best deals from all the best retailers compiled together on one page. There's a North American as well as a European section. The links will be in the description for that. And it's a really great place to find a good deal on a pair of soccer shoes. Any questions you have not related to the video, go ahead and ask them on my Facebook page. The link's in the description of that. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.